Yeah, everyone. Just wait a minute. Okay. One. Admin also be ready. 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you. Yeah. Yes. Okay, and then we go to the room number 2. The room number 2. The room number 2. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Oh, this one is room number 3. Room number 2. I will repeat again. Room number 2. 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you. Okay, and then room number 3. Okay. Yeah, and then the last one, room number 4. Okay. Yeah, thank you. Okay, thank you so much everyone for attending this conference today. Okay, admin can start share the screen again. Next agenda is, of course, the keynote speaker sessions. Now already being with us, the Assistant Professor Engineer, Dr. Muhammad Mujtaba Asad. Welcome, Prof. Okay, before he start delivering the speech, I would like to read a brief about his biography or his profiles. Okay, so the Dr. Muhammad Mujtaba Asad has national and international working experience of more than 12 years at industrial and educational sectors in the domain of educational technologies, work and product-based education and TVET. Currently, he is serving as an assistant professor and head of educational technology and TVET research at Sukur Iba University, Pakistan. Dr. Mujtaba has published more than 70 research articles in reputed international journals and conferences worldwide. Also, 2 books related to the observational skills of competent educators under the GS Publishing House USA is in his publication credit. And Dr. Mujtaba has supervised 8 PhD and MS research students so far. He has also received several awards in international research and development completions in Malaysia, Korea, Saudi Arabia, and UAE on his commercialized projects. He is also serving as an editorial board member to 15 reputed and indexed international journals. Dr. Mujtaba also holds several international copyrights and has filed 1 patent under the title of Hasbo Expert 1.0 for drilling operations. So he also awarded as an honorary lifetime membership as an international ambassador by University Tun Hussein on Malaysia based on his academic achievement and community service. So this is a very outstanding achievement for the Professor Mujtaba Asad. So in this opportunity, we are very grateful to have you, Prof. Okay, so the next slide, please. Yeah, and he will be delivered the keynote speech sessions, and this is a very current research, yeah, a very current research with the title, the VR-based educational technology 4.0 for oil and gas drilling industry. So Professor Mujtaba, are you with me?
Thank you very much, Ms. Shanti and RSF, RSI for inviting me again to International Conference on Management, Education and Social Sciences. So as you already introduced me, so thank you very much for the introduction. So I think the topic which I have selected for delivering the speech or having some interactive session on a very current and needful topic, which is related to IR 4.0. And currently we are also facing the situation which is in this situation of pandemic COVID-19. So we are also moving towards the further development in terms of technological advancements. So the topic which I have selected, it's covering also the domain of education and also the management part in terms of safety and health. So the topic which we are going to, which I am going to share with you, and I hope that you will also get some new information and knowledge. That is actually a framework which is based on the development of virtual reality based educational technology 4.0 for safety and health of drilling workforce at oil and gas industries. So next slide, please. Okay, so as we all know that the oil and gas industry is considered as one of the very complex and challenging industry in the sector of production, in sector of manufacturing some new petrochemical products and such petrochemical materials. So therefore, the high fatality rate among oil and gas drilling crew has been reported from more than decades. So we are actually facing these issues related to safety and health. They are not new. Even the oil and gas industry is spending a lot of money having those particular safety and health preventive strategies to overcome accident prevention and those all situations in which the human can get affected through this also their health and their safety. So there are several things which the previous research studies also indicated, and also our what we have also identified through our literature review, and my students in our research group also working in this project to find out that what are those challenges and how we can use technology to improve and enhance the vestibular training part of the drilling crew prior to going to the actual field in the drilling sites. So the first thing that we have highlighted through literature review, also indicated by one researcher, which is Manan 2019, indicated that there is a lack of health and safety awareness among the drilling crew during drilling process. So that was one of the issue which has been highlighted in this specific domain of safety and health in terms of advancement and upcoming new advancement in the industry due to fourth industrial revolution. So in the last 5 years, from 2015 and 2019, the statistical report which indicates that the oil and gas extraction industry, means the drilling industry, which is 2.5 times higher than the construction industry and 7 times higher than in general industry in terms of fatalities. Like the ratio of accidents and deaths are more higher than the other industries, which already has been seen through statistics in the oil and gas drilling industries, which is the I think the very even in this advanced era, and even in this particular domain that we are continuously focusing, improving, a lot of money we're spending, but there are some errors like such as human error or some technical errors which can affect the humans during working at the drilling sites. So according to Asian Petro Gas statistical analysis from year 2015 to 2019, which indicates that the higher rate of critical injuries, life-threatening injuries, has been saw and observed and reported during drilling and extraction operations. So I think from these statistics, we can realize that how dangerous or difficult and challenging job is a drilling extraction task and the job which the drilling crew used to perform. So we can understand that how threatening in terms of their safety and health it is. So firstly, due to the rapid change in environment, as we know that everyone know this, that the environmental change and the sudden and rapid change in the environment, which also cause us some disasters in terms of pandemics, in terms of other kind of disasters which are affected most of us and globally, not contextually, particularly in some nations, but globally people are affecting, and therefore the countries and the governments of different countries are at 1.0, so that how it can be more effectively used internationally. Because if you want to make it public, or you want to market this product internationally in terms of safety and health, then we must need those safety standards which are internationally recognized. So such virtual reality based educational aids and safety and health training aids which based on the new controlling factors and strategies to overcome such issues can be used for academic purpose as well. While we are teaching, while we are giving training to safety and health professionals, while we are arranging such opportunities or pre-service activities prior to sending our workforce to the industry. So we must need some kind of virtual reality based educational aid, which can help them in performing the activity of drilling operations safely at on and offshore drilling sites. So to tackle such issues, we have proposed and developed in the initial stage. We have proposed and then now in the process of development. So we are developing a HESCO Expert 1.0, which can be used for accident prevention, which can be based on three major parts: identification, development, and evaluation phase. So there will be three major things. The first thing that we come out with the most hazardous potential areas, activities, tasks, where the issues and concerns we can find out. Then what are those, you can say the mitigation, then identified that how we can control those affected areas, the hazards which we identified in those areas. And then after that particular area we identified, and later on we come up with the potential hazard associated with those operations, and then come up with the controlling factor strategies. So this is the three ways process. Like the first, we have identify what are the potential areas of concerns and operations, and come up with the potential hazards, and later on we move towards the controlling factors and mitigating measures, that how we can mitigate those things. And then based on that data and based on the identified data which we have extracted from our research activities, later on I will also describe that how we can come up with which approach and method we have used. So then we move towards the development process, where we developed a virtual reality based educational aid in terms of safety and health at on and offshore drilling operation. But I would like to highlight here that the previous version which we have created, which we have designed, our team had worked and we come up with, which is already patented, which was focusing for three countries: Malaysia, Saudi Arabia, and Pakistan. But now in this virtual reality version, we are focusing for Pakistan as a prototype based research, that and later on we will move towards internationalization and commercialization. Then we will integrate other countries as well, so it can be used to other domains. After, as we know that once we develop something, so we also need to evaluate its effectiveness, user friendliness. So after the next and final step, we go towards the evaluation phase. We will come up that how that system or that work can be further identified. So the next slide, please. So the research target, which I already identified in the previous slide and also share with you, then we come up with some research objectives to achieve during this research study. So the first objective which we have targeted is to recognize the risky operations or the potential activities, hazardous activities and operations associated with drilling operations at Pakistani oil and gas drilling sites. So then we move towards identification of hazard controlling factors and measures related to drilling operation at on and offshore drilling sites at Pakistan. Then to develop the virtual reality based teaching and learning aid for accident prevention during drilling operation at drilling sites at our targeted country, Pakistan. So this is, as I have indicated in the start, the identification phase. Our two objectives are related to the identification phase. Third objective, which is about the development of virtual reality based application, which is based on the development part, that in which we have developed. We come up with the design and development of the product, which we already proposed. And in the fourth objective, we evaluate its effectiveness. How effective in terms of its performance towards utilizing in the teaching and learning activities for accident prevention. Because our target in this research was that we can facilitate, we can give some authentic, solid, and justified way of interactive way of safety and health prevention and give it to our workforce in terms of safety and health. And the drilling crew can also use, safety engineers can also use. So it's another way, interactive way to teach the workforce and the industry. So this research is more related to the industrial education. So we have tried our best to cope up with all those strategies and issues and address all concerns issues as per the current need of the industry. So next slide, please. Okay, so when we are talking about the industrial areas, we're talking about such issues which are globally and locally and globally are always in the consideration. So we must need to follow some key policies and which we used to target while designing our research objectives, while proposing some product. So this research project will target to contribute in the implementation and development of knowledge economy initiative of the government of Pakistan. Like what we did in our research study, and the product is already utilized by EDCO Abu Dhabi, the one which I already discussed with you, which has for Expert 1.0. But this one is also 1.0, but having a feature of virtual reality. So virtual reality give the interactive way, an experiential way, and vestibular way to workforce to get the knowledge and understanding in terms of the actual scenario. Because as we know that in current situation in the pandemic, it's very difficult to provide actual environment to the workforce. So while training them, while giving them training in terms of their experiences, they can experience those things which they will go to perform while going towards the onshore and offshore drilling sites, by performing rig assembling operation, tipping operation, cementing and casing operation, helicopter operation, so many operations, marine operations at offshore site. So the thing is this, that we must need to come up with the agenda of the country also. We also need to address the key policies. So it will give a very concrete and solid justification to your research study. So we also have focus for the Pakistani's agenda and policy towards the knowledge economy. It was about the training and to working towards the technical and vocational education and upskilling the workforce. So also it focused to promote the technical and vocational activities and experimental with the digital learning aspects among industrial workforce. Because as we know that according to several research studies, and also my students has conducted research study in which we indicated that around 80% students and workers in the industry from the labor, the stage of the labor and level of the labor and working at performing such activities are more towards visual learning. They are more, their learning style is more towards experiential, visual. So they love to learn in through visualization. So that's why our target was to come up with that product in which not such skills or literacy is required in terms of because we know that the labor is in the industries are not that very much educated. So we give them that actual scenario in terms of interactive scenario based or interactive way of visualizing prior going towards the actual side. So because safety is one of the major concern in the industries, and industries are mostly focusing towards the safety and health. But as we know that the humans are involved, machineries are involved, advancements are there. So it's really a big concern for all of us that we still need to upgrade ourselves. We still need to work and need more for the research. Okay, please next slide. Okay, so this is some previous research work which I have tried to accumulate in this slide. That the previously used expert systems and vestibular training aids and teaching and learning aids, safety and health prevention aids. So the first thing that because it's from our research, our past work. So HESPO Expert 1.0, the country which worked on that was Malaysia. and the sector which we have targeted, we work with Petronas, we work with Saudi Aramco, we work with OGBCL. So the oil and gas on and offshore was our target sector at the industry. Then it was a software based. It was software based. I don't have such interactive aspects and such interactive specifications of virtual reality. So then there is also some other products which are identified in previously, like permit control and monitoring system from UK, and it's also from oil and gas industry. There's one like fire safety advisor 1.0A, which is from United States of America. Ministry of Labor provide this one for safety and health in the different states. So it is also one of the interactive part, and now they are focusing towards coming up with the new you can say the new level, or they are bringing that to the next level. So there is some ingredients they integrated in terms of virtual reality, but it is bit focusing on just a fire hazards perspective, don't covering all concerns which are related to safety in oil and gas drilling. So that was the previous work from the literature we have identified. So far there is no safety and health drilling virtual reality based application is available in the market, available in the industry, which can cover on and offshore operations, 9 on offshore operations and 7 onshore operations, and having this updated information in terms of new mitigating measures in this current situation in which we are right now going through. So please, next slide. So this is for your understanding that the system processing flow that I have targeted 2 industry, PPL, 3 industries, PPL, OGDCL, and we also have Mari Petroleum from Pakistan. So these are the industries in our country, in Pakistan, where the extraction process is always like give priority to those industries while we talk about extraction and drilling. So OGDCL is a national oil and gas industry, and they're more focusing towards the extraction. And recently, Mari Petroleum in Pakistan come up with a new, you can say that they discover new reserves of oil in the country. So they are quite progressive. So we targeted those 3 industries, and in the first phase, that was as I discussed from this. Flow diagram, it's also depicted that identification of the hazards at on and offshore drilling sites. Then we move towards the hazard controlling factors, and the hazards we have distributed in terms of chemical hazards, environmental hazards, human hazards, and also we integrate address the chemical hazards. And then after identification of these strategies, we come up with 3 major, as we know that that is the pyramid and hierarchy of controls, where we come up with the engineering controls, administrative controls, and then PPE, personal protective equipment control. And later on, we developed the HESCO expert with the integration of the new content of virtual reality and updated information. So, and after the development, because we must need to ensure that the working of that particular product and its usability and user friendliness. So we assess its effectiveness and everything. So next slide, please. So this is the framework of research in which we have worked and like conducted this research. So the oil and gas drilling industries we have targeted, and we specifically focused towards the oil and gas drilling operation at on and offshore sites, because onshore sites I think those they don't know about on and offshore. So onshore sites, while we are drilling at the land, and offshore while we are drilling at the under the bed of the sea and going towards inside the sea, like we have offshore rigs and onshore rigs. So we focusing towards the drilling activities because we have so many 128 drilling activities so far we have covered from on and offshore domains. So because it's 9 operations from offshore and 8 operation at onshore, but each operation have 3 to 4 activities which the drilling tool used to perform. So then the potential drilling hazards, we come out with those, that what are the hazards associated with those operations and activities. Then effective controls, we identified through what if analysis, which is one of the best approach and quick approach we normally consider in the industry for safety and health. And then we come out with the virtual reality based product based on the identification. Next slide, please. Okay, so this was the methodology which we have adopted, because this research is also having the major part of management and social sciences. So we use the sequential explanatory research design approach, which is a mixed method research design in which which starts from quantity and move towards qualitative research. So we used explanatory research design in this research, in which we have targeted this quantitative 80 respondents and workforce safety and health workers at drilling site, 80 respondents for quantitative data collection, and 3 respondents for our semi-structured interviews in terms of qualitative research. So that was from on and offshore side. We have targeted equal respondents because we come up with a comparison at the end. So we need to focus towards the comparative analysis. So we follow the Morgan table of the sample size. So the virtual reality based application for the GUI, for graphical user interface, we focus towards the Visual Studio, which is very user friendly and commonly used for GUI development. Then for the virtual reality development, we go towards the Autodesk 3D Max. That is a software for virtual reality, which is also one of the factors for the software, which is for the like virtual reality graphical representations and development. Then for inference engine for our database, we move towards the rule-based method and sequential queries to align them with the methods. So and after that, for the knowledge base, because database, we also need a database from on and offshore. We divided into 2 clusters, on and offshore, targeted 1 country. Industries were there in a separate cluster because we use sequential queries. So MySQL was used as a for the knowledge base and database development. So this is the methodological part. So next slide, please. Okay, so the most important and is interesting thing is the industrial application, because normally whenever we are going to industry and commercialize, talking about and presenting about the commercialization of our product. So this slide, they are very much interesting. So they consider that at one of the very interested website, website, it's a presentation slide. So the first thing that they focus for, asking us that what are the what you are offering to this specific system. Okay, it's providing all those aspects which in terms new novel in terms of new information you are providing. But what other aspects? So the first thing which this product is providing, they are, as I told you, that it's providing us potential hazard identification of oil and gas drilling sites, and also telling us the effective hazard controlling strategies and management. That it also give us job safety analysis rubrics and metrics as well, as per the identified data and information. So the JSA is those, they are related to safety and health management, or even the risk management. So the job safety analysis, as per the current data and information which is integrated in the system, it also provide for on and offshore side. They can conduct the job safety analysis. Then we can also come up with the characteristics of the hazards, what kind of the hazard it is in that particular domain, in particular activity, in particular operation. So it's also give them for all 128 activities and more than 500 hazards which we have indicated, identified, and then characterization of their control, distributed them based on the priorities, because we know that the first stage and the first step which we consider as more effective, it's engineering control. And then we move towards administrative controls, and then personal protective equipment control. So we categorize them, those controls, that how effective and efficient they are, with some color codings and distributed. And then HSC drilling through training and educational purpose, the product can be used. So these are the applications which can be offered through this product and this system. Next slide, please. Okay, so now towards the conclusion and the commercialization potential of this virtual reality based educational aid and safety and health aid for the drilling industry, for the oil and gas industry. So this is the new teaching and learning aid, new in terms of the data, new in terms of the methodological development, new in terms of the targeted industries, new in terms of we can say that those areas which we have addressed and integrated with virtual reality aspects and the specification which were required, and we verified this part that either it's a new and novel, because it's when we are talking with the industries, so it's a challenging part. We cannot fool them. We have to come out with the solid justification that it is new. So through the literature review, we can easily justify it, and the industry also agreed on that. So this is a new in terms of teaching and learning aid, having all the aspects for teaching, but through virtual reality, to digitalization in education, towards the education and technology 4.0. So which is also based on identified hazard controls and effective measures for oil and gas extraction and accident prevention. So secondly, this will be a first virtual reality educational aid which compact data insertion and management application. We also give, because when we give this to the industry, we also give them two other packages. We also give them the data insertion part, in which they can align that and add the new information, new hazards, new identified controls. So we also give them the data insertion and the knowledge base data structuring part as well in the terms of application. We also give them the data management and further if they want to add something in terms of like new options, functions, functionalities in the system. So we also give them the open part, open source. So which covers 7 onshore and 9 offshore drilling operation in terms of reducing risk and hazards. And then the third part that this has co-expert, because we are moving towards the advanced version, will able and implement and execute at on and offshore drilling sites. So that have the capacity and capability to the next level. Moreover, this virtual reality has co-expert will be employed for conducting detailed risk assessment and job safety analysis prior and after performing drilling activities, especially for the novice safety and health workforce or the new trainee in that area. So next slide, please. So, okay, next slide. Okay, thank you very much. So I think I finished on time. So if anyone have any questions, so you can ask, and over to Miss Santi. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Prof. Mustaba. Actually, we also have several questions regarding your keynote speech sessions. I will share the questions to you. Just wait a minute. Oh, wait. Let me share the screen. Okay, so have you see my screen?
Yes, yes, I can.
Okay. All right. So the first questions is this one from Dr. Yong Shu from Curtin University, Malaysia. Hi, Dr. Muhammad. Do you foresee any change in safety training sector for post-COVID-19?
Very good question, and I think that is yesterday we were also discussing in one panel discussion that what will be the next stage and next level of training in industries, especially to talk about such safety and health activities and trainings where we need some experiential part as well. So I do agree, and I think that we now have to think, and this product which I have shared with you, it's a next level towards dealing in such situation, in such pandemic. So I think we have to realize this, that now we have to move towards vestibular training. We have to live with this COVID-19. We don't know how long, but we have to accept this reality and make such strategies towards the digitalization of learning, towards, as we are doing with online teaching and learning, and currently we are in the virtual conference. So we have such alternatives. So like for going towards and progressing in terms of our particular jobs and professions. So what we are going to like propose to the industry currently while working as educational technologists linked with the different industries, and we have come up with a framework. So currently we are working on a framework in which we can help the industries. I think later on in some day we can arrange such session to share that the way and strategy and framework development in this post-COVID situation. So I think the things will not same, and we must have to focus for developing such gadgets, such applications, such features, such applications with such features in which we can provide our workforce to learn and get the safety and health like knowledge and information prior to going towards the industry. So as we know that also the industries are now focusing towards the digitalization, as I also discussed, and I think Malaysia is one of the country which is also very active in talking about education 4.0 and IR 4.0 and doing a very good job in terms of development and coming up with new research. So now currently we are also focusing towards this, that how we can utilize our workforce in terms of because industrialization will later on take over these industries. So my answer is this, that yes, we have such approaches, and we are making ourselves ready and coming up with such technologies, such applications in which we can train our workforce through vestibular approaches. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Okay, because maybe this is quite difficult because sometimes in safety training it should be practical. I mean, like we should demonstrate, right? Maybe that will be the biggest challenge in, although we use the VR, maybe in situations will be different. Yeah,
Yes.
That's the challenge. I think that yeah, we as the researchers should face off.
True.
Okay, and the next question is, how about the ICR from the company to communities around that place?
Okay, so
From Ritsumeikan, Japan. Yeah.
okay, so like talking about ICR from company to community communities around the places. Okay, the first thing that that is a different part, that like ICR, like in our country in Pakistan, we are going towards the different local and international standards. So we need to have such reservation from our country and towards the integration in terms of safety and health. Because if I talk about the oil and gas industries, so they're looking and their way towards the safety and health concern in the industries are more towards the like they align with the international standards as well. So the communities, we have also focusing towards their concerns as well and around those places. So I think the knowledge economy policy and agenda which we are focusing in this research. So we're also taking the communities and all those stakeholders which are with us. But here I think there is no concern with ICR or company relevancy in terms of safety and health, because this is an individual product, and later on we can give it to the industry, and they have such internal and external international policy and standards or own frameworks, so they can align later on. Thank you.
Thank you. So hopefully it will answer the questions. But Dr. Hasni, if you have more questions regarding this, maybe you can also contact Dr. Mustaba, ya, Prof, ya? Okay. Okay, so the next questions is, yeah, from Dr. Joel Agacita from the Philippines, who set the safety standard in oil and gas industry.
Okay, so for the safety standards, as I told you that we have different several bodies in terms of safety and health. Like if we talk about international safety standards, and because if it, as we have in the institutions, we're talking about safety and health in the institution. So we also need to follow the government agenda, the national agenda of towards the safety. And then we also have, or our company or our institution also have our own safety standards and agendas. So the setting of those agendas, rules, and regulation is regulated from the international body and also the national body. And later on, because for example, we must have to focus and align our standards, safety standards, which we develop in the institution, must be aligned with the international standards or the national standards. So the safety experts and those governing bodies in terms of safety and health, working with the human resource development, working in the Ministry of Manpower. So they have all those, you can say, the responsibility to coming up with the safety standards in different countries. I think it's different from country to country and industry to industry. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So that's clear. It really depends on the country's policy
Yeah,
itself, right, Prof? Because it should combine between the international standard and also the national regulation itself. Okay,
true.
so this one is the last questions, Prof. Yeah, so it's the need of the day, actually, your topics. And the question is that, can it be generalized to the other countries? From Dr. Bibi from Hazara University, Mansehra, Pakistan.
Okay. Yes, very good question, and that is also